Hi guys, as a part of Appium parallel testing with Grid 4, and this is a part 2. In part 2, we are going to discuss about the Appium Grid 4 setup. Okay, in part 1, already we have discussed how to configure Selenium Grid 4 with Appium. So we have covered 5 topics, that is to download the Selenium Grid 4, and we have gone through the Appium Selenium Grid 4 architecture, and we can know how to register the Appium with Grid 4 and configuring the Grid 4 for Appium. Step by step we are seeing here. Okay. As a part 2, in this video, we discuss further, that is how to set up the Appium Grid 4. Okay. So here I am covering the 5 topics here. And the first one is the simple one, start to Android emulator. Okay. Means we are doing a setup grid setup so that we can run two Android devices. Okay, in this case, I am using the Android emulator. So we are running two Android emulator, means we are doing the parallel testing on two Android emulator. As a part of that one, we are doing the setup. Okay, so first we start the two Android emulators, and in topic 2, from the scratch, I will explain you step by step detail to configure the node with the capability required for the two Android emulators here. Okay, and topic 3, I will explain from scratch how to register and configure the Grid 4 for Android devices. And in topic 4, start the Appium server both in GUI and command. Okay, and we'll demo it. Okay, so let's start. The first one is to start the emulator here. The simple one here. So I have the path here for emulator. Let's copy this one, open a command prompt, cd. Okay, I change the directory. I want to run the pixel 6. Okay, so that our emulator is up and running. Okay, and we need to get the UDID from here. Okay, that's why I'm running the emulator. So I got the emulator. Okay, to know the UDID of this emulator, so run the command prompt and say adb devices. So the UDID of the device is the emulator hyphen 5554. So we are using these values as our capability in our configure node file. Okay. So first one we got it. So one more I need to start. Okay. Copy the path. One more emulator I will start. Open the command prompt, cd change directory to this one, and next one is the pixel 9. Pixel 9. Enter here, click on it. So it will open one more emulator. Okay, we'll keep the side by side. So we are doing the parallel testing on two these emulators here. Okay, this is the 5554 and this is the, we'll check it out. Okay, what is it? So go back to the ADB, this one, once again on this command. So we have two devices, that is the emulator hyphen 5554, emulator hyphen 5556. Okay, we got it. Now our emulator is running. The second topic is, from the scratch, I need to build the configure node with these capabilities here. Okay, so in this path, so we have the parallel test path. I create, so I'll go here, to open this one. Okay, parallel testing. Okay, here I'll create a notepad. So just say new notepad. I create notepad and name this notepad as node. Okay, open this one and we write the code. Okay, this one. Okay, sample node we created, right? Okay, so like this we write the step by step, which is used to configure the Android emulator here. Like this we write it. So step by step we'll see. Okay, it's a copy paste. I write step by step here. Okay, so open the text notepad. As you know, right, we have the 4 main parts we have. Okay, that is the Selenium grid node. We have four main parts: server, node, relay, and configs. Okay, these four sections we need to write in our notepad here. Okay, so open this one, and the first one is a server. So square bracket, type server. Okay, step by step I'm explaining it here so that you can make it your own Selenium grid node. Okay, no need to copy from the GitHub like this. Once you know this one, you can type it. You will create your own node, and we are using the format of TOML format here. TOML format. TOML format. That is a TOML format here. Okay, the server. First line we have a server. Okay, and port space equal to 4444. This is the port for the server. Okay, this is second line. Space, and you have to go for node. Square bracket node, and here you have to use detect hyphen drivers. So you have to use the argument called detect hyphen drivers space equal to false. So what it mean by? Okay, so if you open this document, it says detect hyphen drivers is false. Tells the Selenium not to auto detect any browser drivers like Chrome driver and Gecko driver, because we are relying on the Appium which manages the devices. Means we are running the parallel testing on the devices, not on the browsers. That's why we need to keep this detect hyphen drivers value as false. Okay, so go back to our notepad here. So we are done for the server and node. And next is the relay. So relay. Square brackets I type relay. Okay. And what is relay? So if you see the architecture, already I explained architecture. So this is the Appium Grid4 architecture where we have the hub and we have relay node which will contact with them, which will contact with the Appium server, and it posts the request and get the response. So we need to write the uh, arguments for this relay node. Okay, so that is the part here. So go back to our notepad relay, and here we are using the URL space equal to http not yes colon /local host colon 4723 / wd/hub. So this is the URL I'm giving. Why we are giving the URL here? Means this relay node should talk with this Appium server. So I need to give the URL IP address of this with the port. I need to give this URL to this relay node so that it talks here. Suppose your Appium server is in remote or in other machine, just you have to give the IP address and the port of that one. Okay, suppose it is protected with the username password, so you have to give proper username password with the IP address and the port. Okay, in my case I am using local host, so I am giving the URL in this way. Okay, URL colon http colon /localhost colon 4723 /wd /hub. So URL I given here. So the next one is the status hyphen endpoint space equal to double quotation and a double quotation /status. Okay, what it mean by? If you see the document, okay, it says path to check the node status. Okay, this is standard for Appium here. So we are given the URL. So the URL is the Appium server endpoint to which the request will forward. So in this architecture, this is the one. So relay node will talk to here. Okay, this architecture. From hub, it will go to relay node. relay node to go to Appium server. Okay, go back to notepad. So we are given the URL, status, endpoint. We are given it. Okay, next is important one, configs we are use. So config is related to this node. Okay, so here what you are giving, we are creating two sections here. That is the session. Okay, here we have session. You see here we have session. See, one means one session, and these are the capabilities for that particular session. Okay, we are creating one session for these capabilities. So suppose you want to run the parallel. Suppose we have, see here we have two Android devices. So I had to create two sessions separately. Suppose we have to run parallel testing on five Android devices. So we had to create the sessions 5 here, and for each session we need to configure the capabilities respectively. Okay, so it says one means maximum number of contest sessions, and JSON string describe the Appium desired capability for each session. Okay, in our case, we are running the Android devices, two Android devices we are running here. That is a both emulator. So I need to create two sessions, and I had to give the capability for each session. Okay, so come back to our here. I had to use configure configs space equals space, and I use square brackets, start square bracket, end square bracket. In this, I need to give the first one is the session one I'm using here. Okay, one session I'm creating, and under this session, I have to give the capabilities. Okay, so we have to provide the capabilities so that okay, this node will recognize this emulator. Okay, so that it run the scripts individually on the each emulator. Okay, handheld device. Okay, we have to provide the capabilities here, and these capabilities are in the JSON format. Okay, so we need to write the code here. So we have to open this double quotation. Here in this side, the first one. So backslash, we have to give browser name. This is a capability, and here I have to give colon. What is browser name? Browser name I am giving as Chrome. For iOS it will be Safari. Okay. And here double quotation I am giving here. Okay. Here also I have to give double quotation here. So we are creating JSON here. That's it. Okay. Comma. So first capability I have given. Okay. And next capability is the platform name. Platform name. Okay. And next we have to give the what is the platform name? Android. The capability Android. Okay, space. So we have to give the slash here. Okay, so we after finishing the writing the capability, we give it here. Okay, next capability is this is important capability. That is the Appium colon UDID. Okay, colon. We are giving the what is UDID? What is this? First one we have emulator 555 4. We have to give this value there. That's why I run the emulators here. So I have to give this value here. Okay. This is for first emulator. That's a pixel 6. Okay. Next is the Appium colon, or in smaller case, Appium colon platform version. The platform version of this one is 13. Go the 13. Okay. Yeah. The first generator. Okay. Here I need to give the proper / here. So this is a browser, then Chrome, then Android. So here I have to give platform name. Okay, Android, and I have to finish. Okay, this is for Android, and this is the smaller case I have to use. Okay, and here also I need to give the backward slash here and here. Okay, and same thing we need to give that platform version. So this is the first session we have created. Okay, so we are running the two Android parallel testing on two Android devices. That is the two Android emulators. So this is first one, and second one I need to create. This is first one and second one. Just copy paste here. Remove this comma. Okay, and say I want one session for this capability and one session for this capability here. Okay, and here I need to change the emulator. So the emulator name of the second emulator here. So it is the, if you see this Android devices, go back here. It says this one. Okay, emulator iPhone 5556. So provide here. Okay. So you may think for browser name and for platform name, I not prefix with Appium. But for UDID and platform version, I have prefix with the Appium with the colon. This is because we have to standardize W3C capabilities. So for that one, I am using this Appium prefix here. Okay. So first one is server, node, relay, and configs. So I want to add the comment also. I can add the comment. So with the symbol and say for server configuration. Okay, server configuration, and this is okay. This is the for server configuration, and this is for node, and this is for relay configuration. Relay node, you can say as relay node configuration. Okay, and this is known as the stereotype stereo stereotypes supported by the service. I will say why it is stereotype service. I will show it here. Okay, when you run the grid, it will generate this stereotypes. I will show it there. So we written the comment here. So just check, make sure that this slash should be properly placed. Otherwise, it give a error message. Okay. So spaces we need to check it out. Okay. And this is the 16. So make sure that the proper version we need to provide here. Okay. And now I will save this one. See, after providing the node configuration, we are using the file type called toml. Okay, we are using toml format here. So save as node dot toml. Okay, and you drop down all files. Okay, and save it here. So our file are saved in the toml format here. Okay, just close this one and open. Go to this folder. Okay, and open this toml source file. So this is how it looks like. Okay, server node. Okay, relay node. Yes, we have given. This is a config. So you are using two sessions here. Okay, so just make sure that everything is just cross check here. Okay, so you are using two emulators here. Yes, the platform version we are given. Yeah. So our node config file, which is in type of Tamil file format, is ready now. Okay. So we have gone through each and every step. So I created from scratch here. Okay. Suppose you are using the iOS, give the browser name as Safari and platform name as iOS and give the UDID of whatever it may be for the iOS here. Okay, name of this one. Suppose, see, here I am using the two emulator, means I am doing the parallel testing on two Android devices. It may be emulator or it may be a real-time device. So we get the device name by just update here. Suppose you want to do parallel testing on 5 Android devices. So you have to create this config 3 more, that is 5 you need to create, and we had to give the session, each session for each capability, means it create the session for each capability here. So in our case we are using 2 Android devices, that is the emulators. Okay, so our node config file is done. Okay, this step is done. Close this one, and next one is the next one. We have to register and configure Grid4 for these Android devices. We'll see how we can able to do it. Okay, so we have to use a command here. So before that one, if we see this architecture, before starting the hub, okay, our node file is ready, and before starting the hub, we need to start the Appium server. Okay, if we not the Appium, if we not start the Appium server, the node will not be registered. Okay, now first of all we check it, the whatever we have created the node file is working or not. So we need to start the hub. Okay, so here open the command prompt, and we are using the node for standalone, means there is no need to start the hub separately and node separately. Okay, so in grid4 directly we are starting the hub and node at one time here. Okay, how we can able to do it? Okay, so our jar file is under the appium-guide parallel testing folder. Okay, click on this one, command prompt cmd, type cmd. Okay, and here I need to type java-jar and tab. This is jar file, that is the selenium-server-version 4.34.0 jar, and here I have to give standalone mode. Standalone, please wait, that give stand alone. Okay, and here I had to use argument called config, and the configure file we had given the node dot toml. Okay, so this is okay. Before this running this one, okay, I have to make sure that Appium server is should be running. Okay, so what I will do, I will not run the Appium server. I will show that what type of error it will throw. Okay, so before that one I need to start Appium server, but I am not starting the Appium server here. So I want to show what type of error message comes. Click on enter. Okay, it says some problem with the expected. Okay, at line 13 I told, right, in the node file some error may be there, we have to see this one. So it says line 13 column 133. So open this one. Okay, and then so we have to fix it. 13, where is it? 13 13 and column, which column it is there? Okay, so error message, it says column 133. Okay, 133, where is the one? Here, what is the problem here? Yeah, okay, yeah, see the slash I have given wrongly here. Okay, good, we got error. So here I need to place this double quotation. So you have to make sure that everything should be proper, otherwise you give error. Okay, So backslash I given wrongly here. Okay, done. So once again we run this. Just man, go back to this. Yes. So we register the grid hub here. Once again I run this. Yeah. See our the toml file is working fine. Okay. So there is no issues. So previously we have issues. It is throwing the error message here. So you see it says mapping capture and read the log. Okay, we step by step we read the log. So using the default coding, all these things is this one. Adding relay configs for this one. So relay config for this one. Okay, if you see this one for this one. So what is the capabilities? Actually says mapping capabilities Appium colon platform version 13 Appium colon UDI emulator 5554 browser name Chrome, platform name Android. So what see like this it added the two capabilities here. That is for the emulator 5554, emulator 5556. Okay, so here you see we have given the config and we have two sessions here. For each sessions we are given the different capabilities here. So these things it has added here. Okay, it has added the mapping capabilities here. Two mapping capabilities added. But you see it says error checking service status. Okay, it is not started properly. Why? Because our Appium server is not available here. Okay, so we close this one. Okay, now we have to start the Appium server. Otherwise, this type of error will give. So what you see says error checking service status. So this Appium server is not available. Okay, in this architecture, this is missing. Okay, this is missing now. Okay, we need to add this Appium server. Okay, so what we will do, we can do it by the command prompt or by the Appium server GUI here. Okay, so if we are using the command prompt, it's just say Appium, okay, or you can use -a address 0.0.0.0 -p -p, that's your port 4723. You can start it like that also, or I use the Appium GUI, Appium server GUI here. I open here. Just wait, Appium server is open. Okay, so host is 0.0.0.0. Okay, and port is 4723. Click on start server. Okay, and our Appium server is started. Means in this architecture, each and every component is ready now. So each and every component is ready. Okay, now we go back to command prompt and we register once again the grid. Okay, same command java-jar and we had the jar file here standalone config node.toml file you are given. See now click on here. Now it has should not display the error message. See if we compare these both, here we say started the standard server and it says error checking. This is the error checking server status. But here and there is no further steps here. That is here if we compare this log, it says added node. Okay, this is the idea of this node. And if you want to see this one, right? Control, click on this. See, if you open the grid and we have the node here. And it says to concrete to, okay. So here stereotypes. I told that what is stereotype here. So we have two types here, session 1 and session 2 here. If you mouse over for first one, you see it says platform Appium colon platform version 16 Appium UDID emulator 556 browser name Chrome platform Android. Okay, and the second one you see platform version 13 emulator 554 browser name Chrome and platform Android. So it has created the two stereotypes here based upon our capabilities. Okay, if you see this toml file. Okay, so we have the server node, relay node, and we have config. So all four is this one. Server, relay node, hub, a node. That's it. So we have configured we have registered the Appium Grid4 with the node here. Okay. So we are using standalone. So directly we are starting the hub and the node simultaneously. Okay. And already we have demo here. Okay. Now our Grid 4 hub and node is started here, and we have seen in our Chrome also. Okay, this is how we can able to do the setup, Grid 4 setup for the Android devices. Okay, here we are using the two Android devices, so we are giving the capabilities for each session here. So this is the session. One session based upon these capabilities, other session based upon these capabilities here. Okay, and this is a part 2. Okay, part 2 we have done the Appium Grid4 setup. Okay, as a part, and in part 3 we are going to discuss about Appium Grid scripting, and we are executing parallel execution with the multiple devices. Okay, in part 3 we are going to discuss about what are the setup, what are the changes or what are the enhancement, what are the changes we are do for the scripts and create the test.ng XML. Okay, and we execute the scripts in parallel mode here. Okay, for this video we are just sticking to the Appium grid setup. Okay, and in part 3 we will see what are the changes we need to do for our scripting, and we do the parallel execution. Okay, so we'll see in the part 3. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.